What if a football club had fully approved plans to build a World Cup stadium and let them gather dust for 16 years while the existing ground literally fell apart? Sheffield Wednesday's £22 million expansion was ready in 2009, planning permission granted, designs complete. Then, the owner who took over spent £151 million on players while ignoring engineers warning him the roof was corroding. 4 years of warnings, 0 repairs, until an entire 9,000-seat stand was condemned in 2025, at a ground where 97 fans once died because safety concerns were ignored. Now he's banned from English football. Workers have ripped his name letter by letter from the stadium seats. And American billionaires are circling with the money to finally build what fans have waited 16 years to see. Though, some are whispering about something even more radical, abandoning Hillsborough entirely for a 55,000-seat stadium on completely different land. But to understand how Wednesday got here, we need to go back to where it all began, a desperate gamble in 1899 that would define this club forever. Hillsborough Stadium's story doesn't begin with glory, it begins with desperation. In 1899, Sheffield Wednesday found themselves homeless after their ground at Olive Grove was seized for railway expansion. With nowhere to play, the club gambled everything, £5,000 for 10 acres of meadowland in Owlerton. Then, they dismantled their old wooden stand and transported it piece by piece across Sheffield to rebuild it. It was a gamble that could have destroyed the club entirely, but instead it defined them for the next century. Hillsborough would become one of English football's great cathedrals. In 1934, 72,000 fans packed the terraces against Manchester City, a record that still stands today. The stadium hosted World Cup matches in 1966, European Championship games in 1996, and more than 24 FA Cup semi-finals over the decades. But its history is inseparable from tragedy. On April 15, 1989, during an FA Cup semi-final, a catastrophic crush occurred at the Leppings Lane end that claimed 97 Liverpool supporters' lives, the youngest just 10 years old. In the aftermath, the victims were blamed and false accusations were printed in national newspapers. After a 27-year fight by the victims' families, a jury ruled in 2016 that all 97 were unlawfully killed, yet no individual has ever been imprisoned. The ground would face disaster again in 2007 when the River Don burst its banks, flooding the stadium and causing extensive damage. Hope briefly returned in 2009 when England launched its bid to host the 2018 World Cup. Sheffield Wednesday unveiled plans for a £22 million redevelopment to expand capacity to 44,000 and modernize the stands. Sheffield was selected as a host city and planning permission was granted, but when England lost the bid to Russia, the project was quietly shelved. Instead of renewal, the club entered uncertainty. In 2015, Thai businessman Daphon Chansiri acquired Sheffield Wednesday for £37 million, promising Premier League football. The club reached the championship playoffs twice, but never won promotion. In 2019, Chancery sold Hillsborough Stadium to his own company, Sheffield 3 Limited. The English Football League ruled the valuation breached financial fair play regulations, resulting in a points deduction. Hillsborough was no longer simply a football ground, it had become a financial asset, detached from the team. By 2025, the club was drowning. Players went unpaid for months, while the EFL imposed embargoes and transfer bans. When businessman Adam Shaw offered $75 million, Chansiri rejected it because he wanted $100 million for a club hemorrhaging money daily. Then came the stadium bombshell. In July 2025, the North Stand was condemned after engineers discovered extensive corrosion in the roof. Warnings had been raised since 2021, and a contractor was recommended in 2022. But Chansiri refused to invest because he was considering relocating entirely. He let Hillsborough rot while dreaming of building somewhere else. The fans had finally had enough. On October 22nd, they organized a mass boycott of the Middlesbrough match, leaving the stadium nearly empty when the previous year's fixture had drawn 28,000 supporters. Just 2 days later, Sheffield Wednesday entered administration for the first time in their 158-year history. the EFL imposed a 12-point deduction, followed by another 6 in December. Chansiri was banned from English football for 3 years, and Wednesday sat at the bottom on -6 points. Among the 80 parties who contacted administrators were, remarkably, the owners of Sheffield United. Someone floated the idea of merging the bitter rivals, but the proposal was dismissed as dead on arrival. Today, a stadium that once hosted World Cups belongs to administrators. Its North Stand remains condemned and relegation looms. But those £22 million plans from 2009 remain approved. With new ownership coming, the question is no longer whether Hillsborough needs transformation. It's whether this fallen giant can rise again. So what exactly would the transformed Hillsborough look like? The £22 million expansion plans approved in 2009 remain valid and ready for execution even after 15 years of gathering dust. This wasn't just about adding seats, it was about reclaiming Wednesday's identity as genuine innovators. This club built Britain's second ever cantilever stand in 1961, 4 years before Manchester United copied the idea for the 1966 World Cup. Sheffield were pioneers of pillar-free stadium design when Old Trafford was still figuring it out. Total capacity jumps from 39,732 to 44,825. Over 5,000 additional seats with 0 viewing restrictions. Every pillar blocking your view, gone forever. Just pure, uninterrupted football from every angle. But the Spy and Cop transformation is where this vision truly comes alive. Picture a sweeping landmark canopy replacing that tired existing roof, designed specifically to trap noise and amplify every chant until opposing players feel the sound waves physically pressing against them. When the original Cop roof went up in 1986, the Queen herself came to Sheffield for the opening ceremony. 22,000 standing supporters made it Europe's largest covered terrace. This redesign restores that intimidating grandeur while creating steep, towering sightlines that rival Dortmund's legendary Yellow Wall. The North Stand and Cop finally connect through a purpose-built corner section. Beneath those seats sits a circular ventilation system, allowing controlled wind circulation across the pitch. Better grass health, superior playing conditions, engineering innovation you'll barely find anywhere else in world football. 17 new executive boxes, classroom facilities, and enterprise zones turn the stadium into a genuine community asset 7 days a week. Rainwater harvesting and solar technology power the new facilities. A genuinely sustainable stadium designed years before climate consciousness became mandatory. Step outside and the transformation continues. Massive digital screens mounted on the roof corners. A dedicated bridge spans the River Don, creating an entirely new entrance for West Stand supporters, with turnstiles positioned on the far riverbank to ease matchday congestion. Expanded car parks with improved access routes throughout. The plans were specifically designed to meet FIFA World Cup hosting requirements. Sheffield was positioning itself for international prestige. Wednesday weren't thinking small, they never have. This wasn't fantasy architecture dreamed up by fans. This was fully approved, fully funded, genuinely shovel-ready development. Everything was ready. Not a single spade has touched the ground, not one pillar removed. But the real tragedy wasn't just that the expansion never happened. It's why it never happened, and the bitter planning battles that turned architectural ambition into administrative warfare. So, why did nobody have that courage? Why did the capital never arrive? The answer reveals everything wrong with modern football ownership. Dejphon Chansiri's family owns Thai Union Group, the company behind 1 in every 5 cans of tuna sold on Earth. Yet Chansiri himself holds no board position, and his personal stake remains minimal. Where his funding came from is a mystery even football finance experts cannot explain. He operated Sheffield Wednesday as a personal investment with no director of football, no chief executive, and no UK-based decision-maker. Every choice filtered through Thailand while the club drifted, and across 10 years, Chansiri lost £151 million at Hillsborough. That staggering number deserves a moment to sink in. £151 million evaporated, while the stadium received virtually nothing in return. The spending patterns tell a damning story. During his first 3 seasons alone, Chansiri broke Wednesday's transfer record multiple times, chasing promotion through expensive players rather than lasting infrastructure. Fernando Forestieri arrived. Gary Hooper followed. Adam Reach joined. The playoff final in 2016 felt like destiny finally arriving. But here's the brutal truth. Those player investments alone exceeded what the entire stadium expansion would have cost to complete. He chose footballers over foundations and short-term hope over long-term vision. Former player Michael Gray, who represented Wednesday 30 years ago, recently told reporters the facilities look almost identical to his playing days. Everything frozen while modern football evolved. Tottenham constructed a £1 billion entertainment complex. Everton built a stunning waterfront arena. Manchester United now plans a complete new Old Trafford. Sheffield Wednesday's approved expansion plans still gathering dust 16 years later. Yet something unexpected emerged from the wreckage. In late November 2025, an unnamed American investor held secret meetings with Sheffield City Council exploring something unprecedented, building an entirely new stadium at a different location. For the first time since Wednesday abandoned Olive Grove in 1899, leaving Hillsborough became a genuine possibility. The takeover race has attracted serious American wealth. U.S. billionaire John McAvoy, whose sports portfolio includes the Colorado Rockies and Nashville Predators, has merged his bid with another wealthy American family. Former Newcastle owner Mike Ashley is preparing improved offers. Several other bidders remain involved while administrators work towards selecting new ownership. One rejected proposal floated something remarkably ambitious: a brand new 55,000-seat stadium within 5 years. That capacity would make Wednesday's home larger than Newcastle's St. James Park and hold over 22,000 more supporters than Sheffield United's Bramall Lane across the city. The logic supporting relocation carries brutal clarity. A purpose-built modern stadium means 50 executive boxes instead of 17, year-round concerts and events, and naming rights worth millions annually. Most importantly, no condemned stands requiring emergency repairs and no century-old drainage systems failing during storms. But it also means abandoning 126 years of history, walking away from the ground that hosted World Cups and witnessed legends, leaving behind the neighborhood that's defined Wednesday's identity for generations. The administrators are currently reviewing all 5 formal bids with a decision expected soon. Whoever wins inherits a club at -6 points, a condemned north stand needing immediate repairs, and one massive decision: renovate or relocate. That choice will determine whether Hillsborough finally gets its transformation or whether Wednesday's next chapter unfolds on entirely new ground. For Wednesday fans who've endured a decade of decline, this isn't just about bricks and mortar, it's about whether they can finally believe again. One thing is certain: whoever takes control will have the financial power Chansiri never possessed, and the opportunity to finally deliver what fans have waited 16 years to see. So if you were the new owner with £150 million to spend, would you restore Hillsborough's 126-year legacy or build a brand new 55,000-seat future? Drop your answer in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of football's most dramatic stadium sagas, hit that like button and subscribe for more football stories.